All right, everybody who has joined here. Welcome to the Fed's live show. Right, just let me know that if the audio is audible or not. Right, if it's not audible, let me know. So today, I think around now it's 11:16 almost, and after I think around 15-14 minutes, the Fed rate decision will be out, and I think the decision is widely anticipated. Right, that the rate cut is going to happen by 25 basis points, and it is, I think, rather than majorly anticipated, it's more than being anticipated. It's, I think, something which was indicated by the data, and which is, I think, the whole community also is expecting. As far as if you take the markets, right, what the markets are doing, the gift nifty is pretty much in red. If you can see, it's 85 points down, so it's gonna be a big swing in the whole market. So I have every chart here, whichever chart matters to us, whether it's Nasdaq, whether it's dollar index. So dollar index has been it is seeing a very big spike here, right? If you see, so basically dollar index spiking, it's not good for gold, and you, as you can clearly see, right, um, the dollar sorry, the gold is in the downtrend and the dollar index is up. So it's it is a common knowledge that both are you know inversely related, right? So I think the Fed decision, right? It will be out in next 12 minutes, and let's discuss something about today's markets, right? Gift Nifty is not slowing down; it's continuously falling, right? It's been falling from 26 to 50. It has almost fallen almost about 100 points, right? But uh, does it matter? No, right? Because we are in a structurally strong bull market. If you take the if you ask the question from gift nifty sorry nifty nifty's perspective, Indian stock market perspective, but gold, right? Gold is something, if I take you to gold's hourly chart, right? Gold is something which has been in a very long downtrend from past 8 to 9 sessions, right? But it's trying to take a support. We earlier, right, we had an anticipation, or we gave a price action on the technical perspective that gold might top out, and exactly gold made a M pattern and it topped out, right? So on my chart, if you want to see, right, what I have on my chart in gold's perspective, right, I have so many trend lines. If I take you to my probably 1 month time frame, right, so I have these many trend lines which gold has to retest if gold ever goes into bearish cycle, right? So if I delete each and every drawing, right, see, even after a 10 percentage correction, gold looks like in a very strong bull run. And the first trend line which gold wanted to retest was this trend line, and it actually tested like the smaller time frame I had on my smaller time frames. So the next trend line is this one, 3300. So below 38 gold, if it goes below 3900 or 3883, I think gold will be, if I'm gonna clone this drawing, right, so if at all gold can go till 3800, or maybe we can, yeah, I think this is an apt level. I'll copy it, right, and below 3822 gold can actually come till 3700. But a major support for gold is roughly around, because we have to figure out that where was the which was the last level where gold sustained for a longer period of time. It was this part, 3500, 3400. So this is a very strong base, and I don't think so that gold will actually break this. So if the correction continues in gold, gold might go till this trend line, which is this whole base. So if you want to mark this, um, zone, right? You can mark, essentially mark this zone. So what gold can essentially do is, if at all we break down 3800, so we can definitely go till 3700, 3600. But this trend line will be something which I'll be looking at, right? Because it is a trend line which is being protected on a bigger time frame, and we basically got diverged from this mean average, right? how our trend lines from how our trend lines formed is basically return to mean average. I have explained this couple of times, and we have diverged. The gold actually went, like, it shot upside very brutally and we got diverged, right? So this is something on gold. But gold is actually trying to take a pause from the level of 3800, from where it sustained for a couple of days, if you look at this zone basically, and then it exactly came at this point and it's trying to rebound, right? A single closing above, I think today, above $4,000, it should be bullish for the markets, right? Let's talk about, so volatility is coming in, guys. The markets are gonna give you very volatile moves now. Show you, not give you, but show you rather, because we are not active in the markets, right? And the S&P index, which was actually currently falling, it started rising. And the Nasdaq index also, if you see, it is actually falling from, I think, the moment it opened 8 o'clock in US, right? If we track the dollar index, right, what the dollar index is doing is, it saw a very good rise at around roughly 9:30 p.m., but now it's trying to again top out, which might be good for, let's go back to the 5 minutes time frame. And there's not much time left in Fed rate decision. But more importantly, right, uh, you know if you talk about in Fed's perspective, decision everybody knows, right? But more importantly, what matters is the commentary which J Powell gives. If it's a commentary which highlights something like cracks in the economy, cracks in the job sector, which we all know, right? Because past week has been brutal for the labor market, because we have seen multiple layoffs, right? And the layoffs are not small. Like, Amazon just announced, I think day before yesterday, Amazon just announced 30,000 layoffs. So this is something. And one thing which I'm kind of noticing is these layoffs, right? They're more centric towards the US, right? So we all evidently know that the US is in a very very huge debt, and they are trying to repay that debt however they want to. But it's not, the things are not going according to the Trump, right? Because he imposed tariffs, and some countries agreed to its tariffs, some countries they didn't agree to its tariffs. So yeah, everybody is trying to come to the table, they are trying to negotiate. But okay, finally gift nifty also is seeing a good bump, because it has to react in accordance to the global markets, right? So it's almost roughly only 5 minutes left, right? And let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions, have any doubts, any chart you wish to get analyzed, any levels you want. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be going on mute for some time. I'll come back in 2 to 3 minutes. Till then, I have this. Let's follow what? Let's follow Gift Nifty, maybe, because that's what will matter to all of us, or maybe gold, right? Many people will have active positions in gold also. So let's see that what happens. All right, so Vikrant has asked that how's Infi looking. See, basically, right, if you talk about the whole IT sector, right, let's once go to IT sector's chart. And first of all, if you just, probably switch to daily time frame, right? And one thing which you want to know is that basically IT sector and banking sector, they try to move in the opposite direction, because one is a defensive sector and other is a active sector, right? So whenever Bank Nifty it goes up, Nifty IT it comes down, and vice versa. Right, so currently, if you see, even if you will see, right, Nifty Bank's chart, right, almost 3 minutes is left, guys, in the Fed rate decision. So Nifty Bank is almost up on the, almost at near to very all-time high, and Nifty IT, if you see, Nifty IT is trying to, come back. It is trying to bottom out. So it is very evident that, both of them are essentially opposite. But if we talk about IT sector, week on week basis, from I think the moment we have closed above prior weekly high, I think I have given some bullish commentary on Nifty IT sector, and in past, I think last to last week I tweeted about it, that the next rotation of money will happen from banking, from the overbought sectors of the market into Nifty IT. Not because something very positive has come or something very good has happened for IT sector, but for the sole reason that valuations are very cheap. I've many times explained in past that why this happens, but let's go to, Infi's chart, and let's try to analyze that how's Nifty Infi's chart is looking. So basically, Infi, what Infi is trying to do is trying to form a very good base. See, whenever this kind of price action happens, right, it's happening after a long downtrend, right? So it's kind of a accumulation in the market, right? So basically, you don't have to do anything. You just have to mark this range, right? I think there's no negativity in fee from my price action perspective, from my perspective. And even if you take, you know, volumes also, if you take into consideration, there is no as such good volumes. It's just that it's consolidating, and it's the people they are trying to you know accumulate it. So I think it should be good above, let me give you a level. I think it's almost 1129. It should be good above 1550, but the real bull move will come above 1640 for the level of 1700 and 2000. That's it. There's no negativity as of now in Infi, but yeah, it's looking good for the bullish side. So let's go to investing, or maybe I think let's what we'll do one thing. Let's do Fed, and let's switch to status. Right, it's um almost I think 1 minute left. So the volatility has not come in. If you see now, GIF Nifty, it pumped up, and it got dumped, right? So yeah, definitely the volatility is here. So this is the dollar index, and 1130 is here, guys. So let's see what the Fed's decision was. Right, let me Fed lower rates by 25 bps. All right. So as anticipated, the Fed has lowered the rate with 25 bps. Right. Let's go to, let me check the investing.com also. What is the decision? Right. We'll definitely check the charts. So as per the anticipation, the Fed has cut the rates by 25 bps, and there was a slight pump in the in S&P index, but there is a good dump coming on gold, right? And even on, okay, okay, big rise in dollar index, so it is good for the economy. And apparently, if the dollar index is going up, gold should technically go down, right? So it's bearish for gold, and if you can see, right, gold is trying to form a very big candle, bearish candle. But interestingly, Right, if you guys see, right, interestingly, let's search about Fed again. Okay, the Fed latest we'll switch to. So yeah, it is official. So the Fed has cut the rates by 25 bps, right? Hi Avinash, why gentleman you're streaming at night? Because Fed का event चल रहा है रात को ही, इसलिए रात को stream कर रहे हैं. That's why we are streaming at night. And let's just observe gold, right? Okay, fine. So this is the kind of volatility, right, guys, which is expected, which is being expected, and we expected. So gold, it formed a very bearish candlestick, but suddenly it is reversed. And something, let's do one thing. I'll switch to Fed's I think Fed's commentary will start at roughly 12 o'clock. So we'll be there till also 12 o'clock. But let me know in the comment section if you want any other chart to be analyze the levels you want to know, right? Anybody, we analyzed in fee, right? So let me know. Gold is looking good, and the kind of, okay, I'll go to this thing, right? The kind of pump which people were expecting in the equities, right, it is not coming, strangely, right? So the news flashes I'm seeing, right? Fed says it will stop shrinking the balance sheet. So yes, quantitative tightening, which it had already announced. All right, almost. So S&P is almost, if you see, guys, it's not that much bullish. And also even I think Nasdaq, right? So gold is again going for some bearishness. But the tech stocks are booming, but the S&P index, it's looking slightly bearish. What Gift Nifty is doing? Gift Nifty is almost 64 points down. It was essentially 80 to 85 points down, but this is a time for very low liquidity on Gift Nifty, so you won't see probably any moves. But I think Gift Nifty is looking stable. S&P index is going red. Let's see. Gold is also stable now. Dollar index is appreciating, which is kind of negative for gold. All right. So what are what else? The comments are flowing in. Let me see. Every it's everywhere. It's just the news. All right, so let me do one thing. Let me switch to crude charts, please. Okay, fine. Let's go and analyze crude chart. Crude is right. It's trying to crude is little bit tricky at this current point of time because crude inventories actually came in. Or let's not analyze on MCX. Let's analyze crude on this one, on TradingView. We'll analyze crude in dollar terms, right? So I hope that that should be helpful. Right, so let me just open up crude oil futures. I think this is MCX. I think I have, okay, it's not in there. Okay, crude oil, Brent crude oil, or let me see which should I. Okay, so let's go basically on daily time frame, right? See, crude had a very bullish price action when the news announced, when that news was announced that Russian oil will not come into the markets. But apparently, after 2 to 3 days, somehow crude started getting bearish, right? And the rise which it saw, right? The whole rise is about to get retested, and as of now crude looks sell on rise totally, right? This is not the exact crude future. Let me open up the exact future which I don't want to open. I want to open the full commodity, not the futures. Or I'll open this this is my chart. Yes, correct. because I whenever I open this chart, right, I get my levels back, right? Yeah. So let me just, so basically if you want to see crude on a bigger time frame, right, if you zoom out to the weekly time frame or probably monthly time frame, so what on monthly time frame, what crude is trying to do is it's in a, channel, right? So whenever it comes to the lower part of this channel, it tries to bounce off, and whenever it tries to go to the top of this channel, it tries to cool down. So currently we are somewhere in the middle of this channel, but let me go to daily time frame to better analyze that what the price action is looking. And I'll do is I'll remove this, basically this channel. Yeah, so this was the point, I think around 21st 22nd October. This was the point when that thing was announced that um, Russia's oil will not come into the market, and which actually boosted the oil prices. So this is just a technical reset going on. So on longer time frame, crude might be in a bullish trajectory, and you might see this kind of price action. If you want, you might see this kind of price action, right? So for now, if you want, let's go to a little bit smaller time frame and let's analyze there. So crude, right, now just mark this trend line. Unless and until this trend line is broken on the upside, if this trend line gets broken on the upside, so it will be practically a bullish flag and pole pattern, which the crude will technically will form, right? So unless and until this trend line on the upside it gets broken out on the upside, try not to go long. Yes, of course, on the larger time frame the trend is buy on dips, but as of now in the shorter time frame, if you see on 15 minutes, the crude is sell on rise. So if you are a bull on crude, there is no need to worry as of now in crude. If you are a bull, right, just wait for this trend line. And I think from my perspective also, crude can maintain a sell on rise, because the news that event, it still stays active, that yes, the Russian oil has stopped coming into the markets. All right, so let's once go to gold again and let's see what each and everybody is doing. Okay, all right, so Gifty now it is trying to go stable. And let me just do one thing. I'll start Fed Powell speech, if at all he has come to the podium, right? And I'll hear that what he's actually trying to say, and I'll tell you guys, right? Let me just read some commentary which is coming, okay, on my Twitter. So the overall thing, it looks positive. All right, so I'm actually trying to listen to what Powell is saying. So let's see. All right. So as per my analysis, right, as per what I'm getting to here, right, uh, the Powell's commentary, it's not looking good for the equities. He's again and again highlighting that there is the downside risk to labor market and there is upside risk to inflation, which is not technically good for the markets, right? So let's see how the markets they react, but the major part will be focused on if at all he decides to give a pause on the rate cuts, or if at all he decides to keep a keep the rates in the cut trajectory. So that's what basically will decide the next trajectory or next momentum where the markets will be going to give. But strangely, at the around time of Fed, right, only volatility only came for couple of minutes, and I think the markets are very calm after that. If at all on 15 minutes, if you want to see, let's hear more about Powell, what he's going to say and what he's trying to tell us. All right, so as per what I'm hearing from Fed again, so if you can see the reflection on US oil, so basically his commentary is little bit worrying on the economic front, right? What he's trying to say is basically there is a lot of pressure on the labor market. Basically the payrolls also, because the US government is in shutdown, right, and the data is not getting released. So that's what exactly he's trying to reflect, and he's trying to mention that there is very less very less rise in the payroll data, and there is definitely a pressure in in the labor market, and its reflection we can definitely see on crude, because crude is a good indicator of what's going in the economy, whether is economy is doing good or whether the economy is doing bad, right? So S&P is looking little bit in bearish territory. I don't see any positive effect of what Powell is going to say. But strangely the gold is also, because why gold is falling, because if you see US dollar is strengthening, and if US dollar strengthens from here, it will be very negative for the emerging markets, specifically India, right? So let's see how basically I don't see any positivity in gift nifty. So from my perspective, it will be definitely a gap down in tomorrow's market. But S&P 500 index has started to crack down. And what is Nasdaq doing? Nasdaq is holding stable, right? Of course, because there is AI and all, right, the investments. But S&P is looking, it's not looking good basically. And I think Nasdaq will also try to fall. So this is the basic overview what Powell is saying. I'm going to hear a little bit more about him, that what he's trying to say, and I'll try to bring. Okay, Nasdaq is going positive. S&P is not trying to give any bullish reaction to it. But Gift Nifty, what Gift Nifty is? Gift Nifty is relatively stable, right? So gold, okay, gold now has started to come up. Okay, so the and basically the volatilities has started to come in, but yes, S&P index has started to crack down, which is a negative thing for the market, right? Overall, right? So I'll keep you to this window. I'll go and hear what more Powell has to say. I'll keep you updated. All right, traders and investors. So Fed has, I mean not Fed, but the Powell has ended his commentary, and now the Q&A starts. But basically, what he's trying to say is there is a lot of pressure in the economy, and we can see the pressure on S&P index. It's trying to fall, but the fall is not that much larger, right? If you see these indexes, right, basically these indexes, they look stable. The Nasdaq looks stable, the S&P index, it looks stable, and widely what I was personally anticipating, that the markets are gonna crack, it didn't happen, right? So but the on the contrary side, the markets look stable. The markets are not cracking, and the markets are not even shooting up. So the interesting part is people were anticipating that yes, the markets will shoot up, but they are not shooting up. So basically people are also confused, that it's not a very clear stance from Powell. But yes, he has highlighted that there is stress in the economy. He has highlighted that yes, there is stress in the inflation sector also. So we might go in a deflationary economy. So let's see what more Q&A brings. But as far as now, I think gold, if you want to see gold does not look good. But I think the equities market, they okay. It is a big dump on Nasdaq. So probably something okay, on S&P it is a pump, but on Nasdaq it is a dump. So I think they both are reacting in opposite directions. But largely, right, if you see dollar index, right, if dollar index starts to strengthen from here, it will not be good for Indian equity markets. Simple. So GIF Nifty did not give any bullish reaction. Still, we are 70 points down in GIF Nifty. So let me hear what the Q&A is going. Let me more hear about it. All right, traders and investors. So what I'm getting to understand is what we are looking at right now. If you let's once again go to crude. What crude is doing? All right, crude is also stable. So overall, from Jay Powell's commentary, what it coming out is he has given a good speech, but he has highlighted that yes, there is stress in the job sector, there is stress in the inflation sector, but he has mentioned that he is interested in looking to cut the rates further in December. Right, so now the next rate cut decision will be in December, and he's telling that he's interested, but it solely depends upon the data, how the data comes. Now we all know that data is coming, even though the data is not getting released, but the data is coming as very much as negative, right? So that means that yes, he is biased on cutting the rate, but it solely depends upon the data. He is not that much biased that he will say whatever the data comes we will cut the rates. No, it's not the scene like that. And that's why we might see some negativity in Nasdaq sector and also in S&P sector. So let me go back to the indices, right? And okay, fine, still it looks stable, but I think Nasdaq, it has corrected slightly from the above, and S&P is also looking, I think, stable only. There's nothing as of you know the kind of stuff like it we are talking about a crash or something. Nothing as of that is happening. The markets they look stable, right? And I am not sure. Okay, is my screen stuck? No, I think the screen is fine. But the strange part is why Gift Nifty has fallen, and it's not trying to recover, even though. Uh, all right. So I'll refresh this page. Let's read a little bit of live commentary. Okay, S&P is about to slip in the negative territory, which is not good for the markets, right? S&P is clearly showing negative price action. Even the Nasdaq is clearly showing a negative price action. All right, so we are almost done with what the Fed event. It's basically a non-event. It has happened. It's basically a non-event. And the interesting part is now what I'm going to discuss is the premiums, right? Let me just really quickly open up the option chain, right? And tomorrow will be Sensex expiry, so we will definitely discuss Sensex premium also. But let's see that. So if you see, right, the premiums are very high for Nifty's expiry, even though so what will happen tomorrow is the it tomorrow a good premium decay will happen. S&P index is constantly falling, so there's no pullback or there's no, and the oil index is also constantly falling. All right, so let's little bit hear more from what the Q&A discussion is going on, right? All right, so since this event has not impacted Gift Nifty in a way the traders were they were expecting. They were expecting that yes, something very bullish will happen, and in anticipation of that, today the premium, the if you see the straddle premium, it is almost roughly about 280 points of straddle premium, right? So this is something very this happens when the when the markets are anticipating an event, option selling it get reduced and option buying it gets activated. So IV increases and the premiums of option they increases, it increases, right? So now tomorrow what will happen, the moment market will open tomorrow, the first thing which will happen is a huge decay in call options premium if the markets they do not open in a good state, right? And let's on a closing note for this live stream, right, let's talk a little bit about Sensex premiums. And Sensex premiums also almost tomorrow is expiry, the IV is 14, and basically, right, the traders they were expecting that a huge gap up will happen, but if we can essentially see that Gift Nifty is almost 70 points down, and even though this event has happened, nothing is happening to Gift Nifty. I mean, nothing bullish as of now is happening to Gift Nifty. If you want to see S&P index, it's almost, it will fall into the negative territory. Nasdaq is also falling, and on a large note, I think S&P index will definitely close in red, because what traders were anticipating is Powell will say something that will make the markets very bullish. But the whole if you see, right, the whole period of past 2 to 3 weeks, the markets they have digested that yes, the rates are gonna cut in first rate cut is gonna happen in October, and the second rate cut is gonna happen in December. So that's what the markets had already factored in, and that's why we are now seeing a negative price action on Nasdaq, on S&P, right? It's not as of now very negative, taking into consideration that how much we have risen, but it's still, the markets are trying to break 100 EMA on 5 minutes, right? Gold now, on the other hand, is going very bearish, right? It's continuously falling. Why? Nobody knows, because if there is something in negative in the economy, so technically gold should rise, but there is a different concept of gold. I'll tell you what. So the dollar index now, if you see, this will be something very considerable threat to emerging markets. So if you know the relationship of basically the dollar index and the emerging markets, they are inversely proportional. So I don't think that it is good for the global markets, the global equity markets. Gift Nifty, it's not giving any good sign to to the traders who might have carried call in anticipation of a gap up, right? So US oil is it's constantly going down, right? So every place the indication is that the speech is good. It's they're trying to cut the rates, but it's a rate cut in a recessionary economy. Exactly what happened in the last what you can say is last year when the markets they topped out, right? So it's still a little bit early to call out a major top in gold, but let's see if gold crosses this low, right? It will basically head for 37 $3600, right? And I think if you guys also see, slowly and steadily, yes, the markets are deteriorating. S&P looks stable, but yes, Nasdaq is slowly and steadily it's trying to deteriorate. And I think that's all for this stream as of now, guys. So to sum up, right, the Fed's commentary, and if you want to basically sum up that what has happened in the commentary, like Powell has given his comments, he has mentioned that there is stress in the economy. The data is very negative. The non-farm payrolls, they have started to decline. So all this, right, they are pointing towards a negative close in the global equities. If you can see S&P index chart also, it has started to fall, and US oil is also falling. So I'll slowly and steadily I'll try to close the tabs, right? US tech sector, Nasdaq basically it started to come down. Okay, Gift Nifty is not stopping, so probably we can close on the comments that yes, the Gift Nifty, I mean the Nifty can gap down. So basically whatever 100 points we have captured today, we might gonna retrace back them on the downside. All right. So this was the Fed's event, right? And majorly, right, it has been a non-event, because what people were expecting is a very great fall or a very great rise. It did not happen. Correct. So, but yes, nonetheless, a good fall is coming. A good fall is happening in the markets, right? So this volatility will continue to happen, right? And we can monitor the markets the whole night, but I think the event is over. Let me just listen to what Q&A is going on as of now, and I'll tell you the last crux, the last uh, closing point for this live stream, right? All right, traders. So now let me just finally, in the closing comments, right? Let me just look at the indexes, what they are doing. The indices are doing fine, right? I don't see anything as of now negative, and okay, fine. So gift nifty has also started to come up, so fine, right? I think we can expect a negative open at least, but not that much negative. Gold is certainly not looking any bullish. But what Powell has said, right, it has made the dollar index very bullish, which is a direct threat to gold. But fine, it's also, it has, the dollar index also has started to come down, and it's the Powell speech basically, right. It's still going, so he might add a few comments here and there, which might again bring in the volatility. So it's fine, right? I think so. Now to give my final comments, to give summation of the event, right? What Powell has said basically, he has he has his issues with the job sector, with the payroll sector. There has been a lot of the layoffs are happening at a very high pace, right? Day before yesterday we have heard that Amazon is laying off 30,000 people, right? So that those are the concern, and he says that inflation remains elevated, and the payroll data, the job market, the labor market basically in the US, it remains muted, and it remains deteriorated, right? So I don't see that basically he is talking something good about the economy. He's talking about the pressure on the economy, and the volatility has again started to come in. The Nasdaq is started to going up with S&P index, and I think this should take the gift nifty also up somehow. Yeah, of course it's also going up. So yeah, that's normal volatility, because the speech is still going on, and Fed's, Jay Powell might add a few comments here and there, so this up and down might go on. But yes, now I have given, my closing comments. So hope everything, should be clear to you guys. All right, so planning to close the live stream, right? Thanks, Prakhar. I hope you become a trader like me, right? I just wish. Mm, all right, so basic volatility has started to come in. Gold looks bearish only as of now. There's nothing in gold. All right, see. All right, so this is the kind of volatility which comes in. I'm not sure what Powell has said. Let me go back to the stream. And suddenly, if you, oh my god, oh, okay, 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 fine, fine. Nothing to worry. Something happened. Yes, gift nifties has also started to go down. Super, super pump on dollar index. Gold again, big fall. So I'm not sure what Powell has said. Let me go back to his speech. And what are you expecting from the Indian market tomorrow? From Indian market tomorrow, see, at this point of time, I'm expecting a gap down, right? If you can see gift nifty dumping very, very hard, and almost gift nifty is, if you can see on my screen, gift nifty is 100 points down. So something has happened. Let me go back to what Jay Powell has said in last 1 minute, and I'll bring you the content to you guys. All right, traders. So what? So why the market is getting dumped so hard, right? It's a free fall in the, it's a clearly bloodbath, and I'll probably take you to my X time feed, and this was essentially what I anticipated that it would definitely happen. And if you can see, get ready for a bloodbath in Nasdaq, but in instead of Nasdaq, I think the dump will definitely come in Nasdaq also, but S&P is definitely, it's getting dumped. And even S&P index, right, I gave you this chart right at 6911. We cannot really boast of this chart because it has started to go down. But technically, if you see, there are so many gaps, so now I think technically it will start to fill these gaps, right? So now I'll mark you guys these gaps, right? So this gap, and also the market has fulfilled this gap, but yeah, this gap will also get filled, right? So if you can see on my screen, right, I gave this chart because, see, something, the basic logic is basically the market has gone up very sharply, and even after Powell's speech, right, it was not going up. Initially he said that he would cut the rates, but now why this dump is coming is because he has mentioned that we cannot solely rely on, basically we're not sure that we are going to cut the rates again in December. So traders have now reduced their bets on the Kalshi market that a further rate cut is going to happen or not. And the whole market from past 1.5 month, it anticipated that yes, at least two rate cuts would happen, but it's not happening as of now. Because why? Because Powell has highlighted that yes, there are, it's a, basically he has said that it's a double-edged sword. So we are getting squeezed from the inflation side also, because due to the tariffs the inflation is increasing. but we are getting squeezed from the labor market also. The layoffs are happening, the job openings are very less. So definitely the stock markets are giving the reaction, the apt reaction which was required. And this, I think, the way stock markets, equities, they were going up, it was required that a cool down will definitely come. And gift nifty is almost 112 points down, so I think it's a bloodbath on the streets, right? So let me just go back to the indices here. Okay, so the territory has um, changed to red. In what we were seeing as green, it has changed to red almost. And S&P index, basically it is half a percentage down. It is not a small thing, because it was an index which was going technically every day 1 percentage up. So yeah, of course, it was going on. And gift nifty is almost 120 points down. So I think we can conclude. All right. So what I'm seeing here is it's a big fall on gold also. But anyways, nonetheless, if there is pressure, so this is basically the volatility. I think the fall in the equities, right? It's legit, but gold I think will recover, because if there is something, people are moving out the liquidity from equities. That liquidity will definitely go somewhere. Okay, so what he has said is December rate cut is not sure, far from it. So this is, yes, that's what I heard, and now the tweet has also come about it from investing.com. So basically, what he means is we are not at all sure that we are gonna cut the rates in December. So that's what the markets are taking as negative, right? And right. So this is what my tweet was. We targeted gold and silver as part of liquidity pullback. Both corrected heavily, and I'm gonna show you exactly where I tweeted about. I think I tweet a lot, so basically, I expect that you might have seen it. But yeah, this was the tweet done on October 14th, right? That on Warren Buffett's path, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. At that point of time, gold was sitting at roughly at 4,300, $4,350. It has come down till $3,800, right? And this was the tweet done on October 15th, just the day after I made my bull a top in both silver and gold. The least expected thing in world right now is gold and silver correction. It was October 14th, and if you want to see the charts, what was October 14th, right? This was essentially October 14th. Basically, this was even after till I think 17th, gold started to go up. I was late by 2 or 3 days, but if someone would have been able to catch that fall, does that delay of 4 to 5 days, would that matter? No, right? So gold, yes, it's definitely giving a good fall, but I think it should bottom out around roughly. It should make a kind of a price action like this, kind of a double bottom W foundation, bottom foundation pattern. But if at all we breach 3800, I think this last support is at 3880. So I'll still give it some more, like 60 to 70 points. 3800 $3,800 will be the last level. Below that, we can definitely hit 36 and $3,500. All right, so fine, I think so. That's what the Fed governor had to say, and we can actually sum up the meetings. The meeting is definitely bearish, and the scenario for me for tomorrow's market looks gap down only, a big gap down only. There are some more news flows coming into the markets. Let me just have a look. But on the contrary, right, the tech sector, it is resilient and it's not falling. S&P index has fallen, right? So yeah, I think guys, we can essentially sum up the live session, right? Thanks guys, thanks for I expect Indian markets also to behave same way like gift nifty tomorrow morning. Yeah, definitely, I think uh, gift nifty was also already negative from I think 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. But let's see, let's not over anticipate things. We are seeing a gap down, yes, but it's a volatile world, and since it's the day of the biggest day for some, like volatility to come in, we might also see a flat to gap up market. Let's not anticipate that much. It is very essential till 2:30 or 3:30 what the global markets do, because as you can see, the S&P index, it is trying to recover. But I think, from my perspective, the speech was hawkish, right? Powell does not look interested in cutting the rates in December, which is technically negative for the markets. And from my perspective, right, from my traders' experience, whatever the Powell would have said today, the markets, they were expected to correct, because if you see from daily perspective, like so many gaps were they got created, right? So fine, right? It's if in 10 days of five, if the markets are falling 3 to 4 days, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a bear market at all. So this correction, it was widely anticipated, and basically the Powell comments, it added to the fire, right? So it's fine, right? Let's see, let's see tomorrow morning. All right, guys. Good night to you all. Thanks for joining, whoever has joined. I'm signing off. As of now, it's almost 12:20 a.m. midnight, right? And let's see the markets tomorrow. The last look at S&P index at 5 on 5 minutes time frame looks bearish to me. Definitely, we are gonna open gap down on Indian markets, right? But strangely, the IT index of US, right? It's not backing down, right? It's showing very good resilience. But yes, dollar index. This is something which I'm very much worried about. This strength in dollar index, it is a straight threat to gold, and it is a straight threat to emerging markets. That's all for now. I'll be summing my live stream here. Thanks to all, thanks for joining. Good night and take care. Be safe in the markets.